حياكم الله مرة ثانية لمتل جير كاسيت تيب سولد. نبي نكمل نسمع كاسيت تيبس. ايش توقعت ان بيصير في قصة شخصيات؟ لا، كل كاسيت تيبس. Secret recording, skull face and code talker.
يا إيه. You disappoint me. Have you forgotten my face?
يب، هذا ابوي قال لي يوم شاف شهادتي.
You won't respond to anyone else, so I figured it must be me you wanted to see. But now you won't even look at me.
Have I not suffered enough?
Not until you've eased my suffering first. To tell you the truth, old man, I'm in a bit of a bind. It's about your children. You know what I mean? The parasites. The ones that infect a man's throat, killing him if he speaks their language.
They must not be allowed to multiply.
You are allowed to live only in order to help me. But you don't want to, do you? So why not choose death instead? Because you want to protect the Diné and their land from me. That's your purpose, isn't it? Don't lose sight of that now. It's in your interest to cooperate, because if you don't...
Madness.
The parasites can't detect your people's tongue, so I'll just have to resort to more heavy-handed means. I have the greatest respect for your people. I would rather avoid such a thing, but we don't always get our way. I was born a tiny mote in a mighty tempest, and until those winds abate, all I can choose is how to act when they blow me this way or that. Tell me, code talker, what happens to a man infected with a pair of your parasites? Can they be removed? Can the full-blown symptoms be prevented?
It is impossible to remove the parasites alone.
لازم يخلون الحلق بكبره.
An affinity with humans.
Then how do you stop the symptoms from developing? All right. I was hoping for an answer now, but perhaps you just need a little more time. I'll be back soon.
I'll be back.
I've set up shop, not far from here. We'll be seeing a lot more of each other.
If you're close by, then it is almost complete.
We're in the final phases. All that's left is to see if I can actually disable a nuke, with the help of your metallic archaea. Once that's done, I won't have to return here again, and your suffering will end, as will your people's. We're almost finished, Code Talker, each in our own way.
My only regret will be not finishing you.
There's nothing stopping you.
I can
I'm
stay
only
Juba.
alive because you want me that way.
Ridiculous.
As you wish. My regret is this misunderstanding between us. You and I, our goal is the same. We should be working together. A symbiosis.
You do not know my mind. I simply want the Diné bloodline to endure.
Really now? You're just another mote in the storm. How you react to all the slings and arrows, that's what counts. That's why you call those squirming monsters your children.
What I have done is forbidden. Forgive me, all of you.
شو حسوي؟
The world should be left the way it is. You of all men should know that.
Unit dispatched. Unit dispatched. Unit dispatched. Development complete.
أول مرة أسمع هذه أنا. واو 10 دقايق. فهذه نبي نسمعها لو طبينا عند المهمة هنا عشان خالصة.
Please select a landing zone.
هي عند الروينز اقدر اتوقع يمدينا اخذ من هنا حقت الصندوق وتوديني هنا.
Heading to Afghanistan.
يلا خل نروح لافغانستان. خل نشوف غير الشخصية. longer reflex on the battle dress. يلا
Deploying.
انا خبر اخذ فلوس اكثر ناخذ. لا انا هذه كانت بيس واكر، كنت تعطيني فلوس لو غيرت الشخصية. يعني مثلا اذا لعبت مهمة بسنيك ما يعطونك شيء، بس اذا لعبت مهمة بشخصية ثانية غير سنيك يعطونك فلوس. طبعا غير المهمات الاساسية، بس المهمات الفرعية السايد ابس. North Cuba, Afghanistan.
Development project has been added.
يلا انزل. اوه ايش ذا؟ شوف الدب هذا كو.
Whole lot of trouble they put us through. Making me worry like that. Be careful down there, boss. According to the intel team, the escaped kids should be around here. Locate and secure them.
Forgive me, but my schedule has changed. The time for grace and good manners has now run out.
Please. Torture will not work on me. Sure you know this.
Oh, I have no intention of getting rough with you.
Boss, that's a serious injury. It won't heal on its own. You'll need to treat it with first aid.
طيب طيب.
In symbiosis with countless parasites. What wounds I might inflict, they'll patch right up. You might feel considerable pain, but I've no doubt you can withstand it.
Then what do you plan on doing?
I have a soldier standing outside. Nothing special about him, except that he always obeys. I have given him one instruction. Whenever I ring this bell, he passes on a message for me. That message is simply, go.
What is this?
After that, though, it gets complicated. The message will arrive at a room, a little bigger than this one, nothing special. Some of your people are in this room, surrounded by my men.
Enough of this.
They pick them at random. No regard for age, gender. In that, I suppose, they're different from you. Not as discriminating. They tied them up, one by one, blindfolded them.
Okay.
We had to maintain order, you understand?
You bastard.
Go. When they hear that, my men will pick one of your people and infect them with a parasite. Your parasite.
Oh.
Won't work on my people.
True. The vocal cord parasite doesn't respond to your language. But what about
طيب.
English?
An English strain. It exists.
A ring of this bell, and they infect one person. If that person abandons the Navajo language, the English strain will trigger symptoms.
اوه يا سكول فيس والله انك وسخ.
It's quite simple. Every time I ring the bell, another of your people is infected.
Don't do this.
I don't want to do this. I'd rather not have to ring the bell, which is why I'm hoping you will talk to me.
What do you want? What else could you possibly want?
You know the answer to that. How to prevent the symptoms caused by the parasite.
You cannot control it like some...
Okay, subject is in.
Get the idea.
Forget it. Unlikely.
I will never tell you.
رن الجرس.
What have you done?
You made me do that.
You black-hearted...
Settle down.
Don't use it again.
Well, that is up to you. All you need to do is tell me what I want. How to prevent the vocal cord parasite symptoms.
Why? Why do you need to know?
Please select a drop point.
The adult soldiers at Walayamasa are all dead.
What?
The parasite traveled downstream.
How?
It would appear that he was involved.
مين هو؟
Another demon who woke up from 9 years of slumber.
بيج بوس.
As a result, the vocal cord parasite spread through the village.
I told you this would happen.
It was an unfortunate accident. He is becoming an annoyance. He may stumble upon the truth sooner or later, but I suppose that is really of no consequence. One day, he too will pay for what he has done.
Black Anna. The real demon is you.
You know, this incident made me realize something. You are right. I should have acted with more humility. These creatures cannot be controlled. All the more reason I require a means to stop them.
There is no such way.
Oh, really?
Wait! Don't ring it again.
It is up to you. Out with it.
I see now. There must be more to it than that.
What?
They are in you. You use this land to breed more of my children. And not just here. No. In pursuit of your ethnic cleansers. You sifted through many language strains. Finding hosts. Breeding more and more.
المحادثة هذه حلوة.
You would have been infected in the process. Infected with countless strains. Most likely your mother tongues as well. Romania, northern Transylvania. You found that one too. Yes, the Hungarian strain that responds to the CK's dialect.
Silence!
Black Anna. It is you who shall pay.
صنوا بكف. وقاعد يخول هاي.
Is this your retaliation, old man?
Let my people go and never bother them again. You heard me. What now? What? No! What are you doing?
رن الجرس
I
مرتين.
am not afraid. I probably have every language strain inside of me. Meaning all the world's languages are already lost to me. But that suits me fine. If need be, I myself can produce whatever strain is needed.
And that means nothing to you. If you are infected, you can never again speak your mother tongue. Otherwise you will die. As will every one of your countrymen.
A few words here and there won't trigger the symptoms.
Please select
And
a
besides,
delivery
the
point.
time is not yet right to show this face in my homeland. Not until my revenge is complete.
اوب نسيت اوقفه. نسيت اوقفه لا. اصبر بعيد هذيك ست تيب شوي.
According to the intel team, the escaped kids should be around here. Locate and secure them.
Go. We're out.
Stop!
No, not until my... And besides,
Hello.
the time is not yet right to show this face in my homeland. Not until my revenge is complete. Now,
Stop!
قلنا
we're out
الجرس.
of time. I have to get going. Well,
No!
قلنا مرتين بعد.
Radiation. It's radiation.
radiation, of course. So it can be used.
But how much? I do not know.
Radiation denatures their reproductive cells, preventing them from mating.
Same principle as the sterilization technique. The reproductive cells are more sensitive to radiation. Most of the body. But I have not tested it. There's no telling what mutation could result or how the host may be affected. Not to mention what could happen if this is done post-infection.
I don't care. This plan goes into action now. As long as it works, the details can wait.
سكولفيس
You
يخوف.
wouldn't be lying to me, of course, old man.
I can guarantee nothing.
I owe you my life. My body has been burned on countless occasions, but it survives, thanks to your children. That is why I trust you.
Then do not repeat my mistake.
What's that?
Whole lot of trouble they put us through.
It is said that the world
Making me worry like that.
among us. In the east, it is said them in the west.
What's that? What's that?
Then do not repeat my mistake.
What's that?
In the west, it is said that the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. In the east, it is said the man of flesh brings spiritual power to words. The people knew back then that these creatures carry the gospel. They do not belong in our hands. They must not be touched.
How enlightening.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Consider this my thanks.
What are you?
Catch.
No!
جدع الجرس. يا ابن الذين.
Well then, I'm afraid it...
دقيقة بس خلنا بس ننتقل.
Please select a delivery point.
يا ابن الذين. جدع الجرس خلوه يرن خلوه يرن طنق طنق طنق. الحين ها كم الحين واحد جاء عدوى. سكول فيس مرعب. نسيت كذا بدعايات طالع.
According to the intel team, the escaped kids should be around here. Locate and secure them.
He is goodbye this time, code talker.
There is no soldier.
ما في أي جندي.
Now where did he run off to? Guess he wasn't as obedient as I thought.
There never was any soldier.
So long.
هك عليه.
You. How dare you!
يخرب بيتك يا سكول فيس. نبي نسمع الهامبرجر كاز بعدين. خلنا نسمع escape children.
Boss, we found weapons in the children's section of the living quarters. As you know, weapons are strictly off limits. We've got some rule breakers. The weapons we found were handmade. Blades ground out of knives and forks, a couple of bow guns built out of scrap, and explosives made using detergents. And get this, the explosives were tightly packed with nails. The kids put the blame on, you guessed it, Eli.
طق اضربه
I
كف.
guess that's what he meant by consequences.
I questioned him about it, but this time he claimed they want to be put out on missions. Send us to the battlefield, he says.
Miller, enough is enough. You protected him too much already. It's my turn to question him.
Protected?
What Eli's doing is issuing a threat. Comply with my demands or I'll respond with force. But it'll be war at this rate. Forks and soap aren't gonna kill us, but some of them will end up dead. Is that what you want? Now, I hate to say it, but they want to be on the battlefield. It's time you gave up this fantasy.
Eli, he said they'd rise up against us if we bring the last kid back.
There, you see? Ignore his demands. Don't let him return to quarters. That attitude is contagious. We lose control over them for good.
For the time being, we've confiscated those handmade weapons. We're bumping up security and the number of psychiatric counselors. As for Eli,
He needs some very special care.
you mean solitary?
Well, we can't leave him in contact with the other kids. If you won't do it, I will. Boss, keep working on extracting those kids.
طيب ولا يهمك بطلعهم انا.
The kids you brought back to base have laid out the situation. They all escaped to each of their home villages, or were trying to get home and lost their way. Now that homesickness is gonna explain everything we've seen.
Each of their home villages. They were trying to raise troops for the rebellion.
You really think these kids have an armed uprising in them?
You read the report of the security team member who had a rock thrown at him. There'll be a riot if we don't do something. And Miller, this is because you didn't act fast enough.
Fine. I'll admit you were right this time.
Seal off the kids' quarters from outside contact before it's too late.
All right.
I'm on
Eli's
the
telling you that
extraction.
will start when the last kid is brought back, right? You better be ready to meet him head on if it really happens.
Yeah.
You should have left it to me in the first place.
يب كان تركت الاوسلوت.
Boss, they're just kids. We have a responsibility to see that those kids make it. It's not about feeling protective or the pros and cons. I hate kids. That's exactly what I heard from the people who raised me. People who abandoned me, more like. That's the spark that kept me going, you know? I wanted to show those adults what I was made of. Wanted to get back at them one day. Before I knew it, I was all grown up. Never saw it coming. All of a sudden, people treated me as an adult. Some adult I turned out to be. But I feel like if my life had been different, if the adults I knew had been different, I could have grown up better. Yeah, that's it, all right. I wanted to use those kids to test that theory. That's all this was. From their point of view, I'm no different from the assholes who gave me a heart.
دقيقة ميلر.
A
تعال.
lot of trouble they put us through. Making me worry like that.
Time. When this is all blown over, I'll talk it out with them. If that's still possible. Boss, there are still kids out there. Bring them back safe.
براندين
Boss, it's me. Eli's revealed what he wants.
وش يبي؟
He wants to speak with you. With Big Boss. He just said, bring my father here. Eli's too smart for his own good. No way to tell what he's thinking. All we know for sure is his men are important to him. That means we can use the escaped kids as leverage in any negotiation. Once you've brought the last one back, I'll interrogate him. If the kids do rise up, we'll meet them full force. End of story. I didn't want things to turn out like this. We could have prevented it, but it's too late now. If
Eli needs to take this all the way. He's gonna force us to do the same. Boss, go get that last kid.
يب هذا هو على ظهري. يلا لا تموت انت. جيم. هذا اخر شيء يبيها الحين. اقدر اسوي ديفولت ريكفري هنا. كلت ابن. هذا عشان طلعت بدون ما تعلمنا. ما في اي واحد زيادة. ايه
We've discovered a radiation leak in the laboratory on the quarantine platform. It's coming from testing equipment we installed the other day. Members of the medical team have been conducting research there.
اوكي.
We'll evacuate them all from the research block to the containment block next to it. Emmerich. There is no need to worry. No radioactive material is leaked, so the contamination won't spread. We just need to seal off the testing equipment. I've dispatched the security team to get the researchers out. I'll keep you updated.
حلو. يلا.
Gaining altitude.
اتوقع الحين خلصت من المهمات انقاذ الاطفال. ما اتوقع في شيء ثاني.
Departing.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
متى جبت لنا سولجر؟ انا احمد وراي يشتكي انا اصلا. يلا الحين نحتاج اللودينج وبعدين نبدأ بالمهمة الأساسية. خلنا نسمع الهمبرجر اللي هاي حلوة. كم مرة غلط.
Right. Well, the last one was lacking in every way.
Ouch.
The patty was too thin, the bun too dry, and the lettuce stays old at best.
Ouch.
Hey, that was 100% all beef patty, and no shortening in the bun either. Nature's blessings, unadulterated, in hamburger form. Is that it? But when taste falls short, so does our gratitude to nature. Making such precious blessings unpalatable is sacrilege. I hate to admit it, but I think you're right. I should have known better than to settle for second best. That's why I had him run some more R&D, develop a new burger.
يا ساتر.
In fact, one of our researchers just dropped by with the latest results. Here it is. See how you like this? We shall see indeed.
Okay.
I thank you for this bounty, Mother Earth. So, what's the verdict? Not bad. And? But it does not hold a candle to what I ate. Everyone's a critic. Damn it. I was sure the Kobe beef, but maybe we didn't add enough. If we added any more, we're cutting into our profits. Profits? We'll be taking a loss on every unit. What are you talking about? Huh? Oh, anyway, I'll be back with another round of product. I will be waiting. Did you say product?
منتج يعني ايش ناوي يبيعهن يعني. يلا خلينا ندرس عندهم المهمة الأساسية. قبل مرة خلينا نتأكد من شيء ديفلوبمنت.
Please specify a project.
يب خلاص.
Please select a mission.
Using the photograph and the information final transmission دي review.
Mission accepted.
والله ناسي المهمة هذه. طبعا بنختار سنيكينج سوت. بعد كذا احسن كان ملتقي 3. البادي يعطني كوايت ونحط هذه جري فوكس كذا مضبوط. بس ابي لعب برضه نبي نجيب دي دوغ يعني اكيد انه الشيء لازم اطارده.
Deploying.
دي دوغ كوايت دي واكر على حسب الترتيب ثم الحصان. غير هذولا ما في ابدا احسن منهم. Yes. Extraordinary.
Boss, retrieve the film canister our informant hid in Spookmate Keep before he died. It contains vital information on Skullface's plan. For now, our only clue is the garbled photograph the informant tried to send us before the end.
Okay.
We're working on analyzing the data, but there's no time to wait. A KGB Spetsnaz squad is after the target as well. Boss, go to Spookmate Keep and use the VI to lead you to where the film canister is hidden. It is paramount you retrieve the target before the enemy does.
ما اقدر اشوف شيء. هذا خطأ من اللعبة ولا؟ ما ادري ايش السالفة هنا بس ما هو واضح مرة. ما خلنا نجيب هذه اكيد انها بأرض كونتينرز.
Analysis complete. Analysis
شوف
complete.
الزرع ذولا ما عندهم سلب مثلي. مو بنا سلب يعني دي دوغ قلت مثلي.
You have arrived at your destination. Analysis complete.
اوه ذا لابس درع كامل. لا تطلق.
Analysis complete.
هذا والله ممتاز. انت شين تيجي.
Analysis.
اوه هلا والله.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
سمعت صوت اوه هلا والله السيارة وراي اثرى.
Analysis complete. Analysis complete.
ممتاز. اوه ممتاز. باقي بس هذاك مرة ضعيف. باي.
Analysis complete.
ما انت بشين. وهلا والله انت بعد ما انت بشين. انا عندي حل الحين راح اوريكم. تعال. والله ثقيل. هذا كذا.
Analysis complete.
صوت سيارة ثانية بس كان بعيد عني شوي. تجي كذا. في سيارة ثانية وقفت. ما ادري كان هذول اقوياء او ضعيفين. انت بتجي. يلا يا دي دوغ، ما عرفت انك هذاك الصندوق. ممتاز. لقيته تو وراي هي. هذيك هي كانت هناك. طلعت تو هنا. شوفها. يب. هنا. بس كان خيبة أمل شوي بس. ما لازم أترك أثر أو ما أقدر أفجرهم. والله في كواد اللي جايك.
Have arrived at LZ. We'll stand by.
يلا.
Gaining altitude. Alright, you're out of the hot zone. No enemy forces in pursuit. Mission complete. Warning! Yes, mission complete. Boss?
أما عاد لحظة، ليش هذه A والمهمة اللي قبلها كانت S؟ وذيك المهمة كانت سيئة. Information report hamburger. يس. شابتر 3 قصة الهامبرجر تستمر. لازم نعرف الفينالي النهاية وشون راح تصير. شلون؟ هل هو فعلا كاز راح يسوي احسن همبرجر في العالم ولا لا؟
Side ops list updated.
I've updated the mission list.
Mission list
We received a
updated.
new job offer. The details are on your iDroid.
حلو. خلينا نشوف الكاسيت تيبس. Information report part 1 part 2 part 3. حلو، خلينا نبدأ بالانفورميشن. ان شاء الله ما يكون طوال ولا يجينا دقيقتين كويس. حلو.
That floating kid we've run into a few times now. Looks like he was a test subject in clinical experiments. The Soviets called him the third boy. The third boy was brought to a lab on the outskirts of Moscow from Czechoslovakia, after which he was due to be sent to a research center in Leningrad, then Siberia, and finally an academic town in Novosibirsk. It doesn't appear that the researchers witnessed the talents we've seen from him, but nevertheless he was quite the popular subject.
His latent cognitive abilities suddenly awoke en route to Moscow. According to the report, the third boy was easily influenced by other individuals' biofields. Evil thoughts, in particular. They affected his mind like a virus.
ساتر.
Extreme anger
Psychomantis.
or resentment, motives for revenge, in other words. Now, during the transport flight to Moscow, the boy was exposed to a powerful mental energy field coming from a certain individual. Ever since, being conscious of his powers, he's become a sort of energy generator. What's unique about him is the way his acute telepathic abilities get taken over by another person's will. The boy began to physically parasitize individuals experiencing extreme anger and codify the host's desires. This includes amplifying the host's natural strengths. Or, in accordance with the host's desires, he can also implant program code in another individual, making them a puppet, essentially. Human neural synapses transmit weak electrical currents between neurons. These electrical currents, though at a level difficult to observe, warp the magnetic field outside the body.
Hello.
The third boy is able to pick up these weak fluctuations. Contrary to psychotronics, which involves controlling the human mind, his abilities as a receptor are too high. The emotions he picks up from another individual are amplified and unleashed into his body as they recur in his brain. They turn into microwaves, which then affect the physical world, triggering paranormal phenomena like the spontaneous combustion of organic matter or psychokinesis.
أو الحوت ذاك الكبير اللي طلع.
There's one other thing. While he's parasitizing a host, the boy's ego gets shut away, allowing the will of the host to take control of his powers, like some annoying static drowning out your own voice. That means he isn't responsible for what's been happening. Somebody's extreme anger has manifested through the third boy's powers in ways none of us could have predicted, which would mean this was going on somewhere around us.
Eli.
Looking back on it, a lot of things make sense now. The man on fire, Sahelanthropus, they both came to life thanks to the third boy's powers. Everything has been happening through him as a catalyst. We first saw him in the hospital on Cyprus. The boy parasitizing the man on fire's desire for revenge gave him his new abilities in return. He next appeared at the Hamid Fighters Fort where the honeybee was hidden. There, the boy parasitized Skullface's vengeful mind. He controlled Sahelanthropus, making it do whatever Skullface wanted. Same goes for when we extracted Emmerich onto the chopper. When he appeared at the Devil's House in Central Africa, Skullface's will controlled the man on fire via the third boy's powers. Everything is clear up to this point. But even the informant couldn't pinpoint who the host was in the cave within Serac power plant. Sahelanthropus suddenly became active, then crushed not only the man on fire, but Skullface as well. Surely neither of them could have been the host. Who else was at that location and bore anger more extreme than either of them?
Eli.
Whose will was controlling Sahelanthropus? According to the report, emotions transmitted in children's brains affect the surrounding magnetic field more strongly. Cerebral nerves are covered with insulation called myelin sheaths to increase impulse speed. The reason for this leakage has to do with the fact that children's myelin sheaths are still developing. So, how many children do you remember being there? Children with a burning desire for revenge and bearing a grudge against you. I can think of only one. Eli.
Yep.
We don't know what kind of life he's had, but the resentment he's shown toward adults is nothing short of extraordinary. The third boy resonated with Eli's mind. And that means Eli bore the strongest animosity of all individuals within the boy's reception range, estimated to be a 3-mile radius, beating out even Volgan and Skullface. The third boy has probably remained hooked on Eli's anger since. You remember at the Devil's House, the third boy showed an interest in Shabani? That must have been his ego making a rare appearance. He may possess abilities far beyond anyone else in the world, but he's still a kid. Maybe them both being kids was enough to bring them together. And if so, maybe with Eli, he isn't feeding off him, but acting in symbiosis with him. So what kick-started the third boy's powers? If we look at the location and time that his plane went down, we can make a pretty good guess. When the plane experienced the burst anomaly, it gave an accurate report of its position to a control tower, due north of the Black Sea, 125 miles east of Kiev. Dead south on the Black Sea is Cyprus's Green Line. So the plane's position was directly north of the hospital where you'd been asleep for 9 years. And this anomaly was reported at exactly the same time that you woke up.
مصادفة
The
صح؟
plane was enveloped in flame from the inside out. The fuselage burnt to ashes. There were no survivors, at least not publicly admitted. Your thoughts formed a synchronicity with the boy's psyche and were amplified inside his brain. That would have been more than enough to trigger his abilities. Your rage was like a big bang in his head, blowing the lid off his powers. The boy was then secretly moved to the lab outside of Moscow where Volgin was comatose. There, Volgin's thoughts resonated with the boy and he was awakened. Volgin became the man on fire, hell-bent on getting revenge on you. His instincts led him straight to you. Skullface knew Volgin from Operation Snake Eater, or perhaps from even before. Monitoring this pair of extraordinaries, he discovered the hospital and sent his assassin and XOF. Skullface was probably watching the situation from close by. Then, realizing how useful these two test subjects could be, he approached them. Reacting to Skullface's thirst for revenge, this time the boy let Skullface's will control Volgin. Volgin, at times driven by personal revenge, at times through Skullface's will, kept on moving, though his body was little more than dead meat. Perhaps there were moments where even your thoughts affected him as well. But without the boy's power, it was like the plug had been pulled from the socket. Everything was powered by anger, malice, revenge.
ساتر كل الناس كارهين
This is
بيج
how the
باس.
end of the report sums things up. Both the third boy and the man on fire were originally test subjects of paranormal research for military applications, like telekinetically controlling the leader of an enemy nation and making him launch a nuke, or stopping the heart of someone on the wrong side of the Berlin Wall, experimenting with latent human abilities. They were used as tools of the Cold War. The boy's only crime was being born with unique gifts. But he was sacrificed on the altar of war. His life reduced to slavery under other people's wills. Turned into a living weapon with no will of his own. And eventually the only emotion he could feel must have been the desire to get revenge for the hand he'd been dealt. Boss, it's you that awakened the boy's powers. But there's more to it than that. I guess the anger emanating from you was something he could truly relate to.
ساتر كل هذا سبت غضب بيج باس.
Feeling hungry, old timer?
Old timer.
الحين انا برجر.
I do not get hungry. No. But you have a new hamburger?
You guessed it. And this time we used lamb.
Lamb.
You're not a lamb kind of guy?
A hamburger is made of beef. Whoever heard of a hamburger without beef?
Yeah, but we gotta stay fresh. Stand out from our competition.
You're what?
Just give it a try.
حتى هو زهق.
If you say so. Not bad.
برضو.
But I cannot call this a hamburger.
I thought we were onto something this time. Maybe the problem is that it looks like a regular hamburger. Gotta think outside the box. Too much baggage if they come in expecting just another burger. Let's see. Cotton candy?
لا.
To make it look like a sheep? Yeah.
Just a minute. You really think people would eat that? What is it you are planning?
صدق انا بعد بدي اعرف.
Are
بدي
you
اعرف.
using me? It tastes as a one-man focus group.
Well, actually, already started. I got a place called Miller's Maxi Buns.
You are kidding me.
Well, to be honest, business hasn't been great. No one seems to like my, buns.
The Ocelot said Diamond Dog's budget did not add up. But you don't mean to tell me?
What? No. Our black budget's got it all covered. I'm not embezzling GMP or anything. Still, let's not say anything to Snake, okay?
Very well. However, Kazuhira, it takes more than premium ingredients and a clever recipe to satisfy the palate.
Okay, so what do we do?
The palate seeks one thing: chemical additives.
ايش الصوت ذا؟
Additives.
There is
اصبر
Additive
chemical palate
اسمع.
seeks one thing: chemical additives.
chemical
شلون؟
additives.
There is
تحس كذا ناظر كذا عيونه.
or spiritual about good flavor. The tongue simply identifies specific amino acids which the brain then recognizes as appealing. Therefore, all that is needed is to chemically isolate those amino acids and incorporate them into your products. To be clear, I speak of flavor. The rest is irrelevant.
That seems a little extreme.
Do not forget that I am a scientist after all. And using science for the benefit of others is a joy. In seeking coexistence with nature's blessings, not everything can remain in its natural form. When we fall ill, we must be treated. Otherwise, that very nature could cost us our lives. Agriculture is one of nature's many blessings. But through that process, we damage the surrounding vegetation.
Yeah. Whether it's a massive farm or a tiny field, we always leave our mark on the land.
The same is true of parasites and for food preparation. If tapeworms in the raw meat of another animal enter the human body, they roam around trying to find their usual habitat, sometimes even eating away at the brain in their confusion. So in looking through a scientific point of view, you see the necessity for processing food. Yes, it is also sometimes necessary to eliminate certain parasites, or selectively use or even modify others. Alternatively, we could say that if a man is part of nature, the work he does is also part of it. What is important is the balance.
Yeah, you're right. Thanks, old-timer. You really opened my eyes. I fooled myself into thinking people today wanted high-quality, all-natural goods. But my favorite burgers were never about that. What they want is something like the first burger I had in America when I went to meet my dad. A Frankenburger loaded with additives. That's the America I knew and loved. I'll be back in a jiffy, old-timer. My next burger's gonna knock your socks off.
Kazuhira, wait. What is important is how we balance the...
سحب عليه.
Quick for a one-legged man. Frankenburger.
Frankenburger.
What kind of a dive did your old man take you to?
يبيني نعرف هذه زيادة. لازم نعرف ايش سالفة الصاقة حقت البرجر هذه. لازم نعرف النهاية. هل الحين مسكين احنا ازين من يقعد يتكلمني كود تاكل يتكلمني عن البيراسايت من وين جاء. يلا يعطيكم العافية على المشاهدة شباب. ان شاء الله رجعنا راح نكمل مهمات اساسية وان شاء الله نوصل يعني لنهاية اللعبة. يعجبكم السلام مع السلامة.